Welcome back, my beautiful people, to This Week in Review. I'm going to get right into today's question. And today's question is, Fernando, can you please list how many sources of revenue can a short-term rental management company earn? Well, I'm going to there's a lot, because I've always said that your earning potential, it's going to depend on two things. Number one, your creativity. What can you think of that will allow you to earn some money? And then more importantly, on top of that, is what type of value are you giving someone so that you can earn that income, right? Value or the success that you have in any company, any business is highly dependent on the value that you are adding. You can't deviate from that. You really have to understand what that really means and how important that is in terms of your earning potential. Again, it doesn't matter if you're in business or you're an employee. Your value is what's going to determine how much money you make. So in no particular order, I'm just going to give you some of the ways that we earn money through our company. And there may be a few that I'm going to talk about that I don't actually use, and there may be some that I use that I can't remember right now. But first one, the obvious one is going to be management fee, and that is your percentage of the rental income that you generate from a property. Next is going to be a booking fee. Now, we don't use a booking fee with our management company. So when people book direct, I don't charge a booking fee. This is why I tell guests, and I tell people that are looking to save money when they travel and use short-term rentals, is to try to book direct, because oftentimes, especially with us anyways, you're going to save on the booking fee. You're also going to save on the fact that we're going to cost less than an OTA, because oftentimes we increase our prices to cover our operating costs when we advertise on that OTA. So booking fee is one, cleaning fee is another, and I know this is currently a controversial issue, but I can tell you this. I know Airbnb doesn't like it, but we noticed that, and we tried this. We took off booking fees, and we compared what our occupancy rates were, and there was no difference. So we added back the cleaning fees to our short-term rentals. Next is going to be a maintenance fee. This is going to be dependent on whether or not you have a fully operational management company. But even if you are using vendors, I highly suggest that if you are a management company, that you add a surcharge when that owner or owners of a particular property that you're managing, when they rely on you to get a vendor for whatever type of work that needs to get done. You are still providing a service, so it's okay for you to add a fee to that service. Next is concierge services. Now, this could vary from booking tours to transportation to personal chefs. There's a lot of different ways within that concierge service that you can make some money on. And this is where that creativity part comes in, because there's a lot within that. Just to give you a couple examples that I just mentioned, or additional to what I just mentioned, will be like selling art in your properties. If you, like us, we have a vineyard, selling wine, selling, whatever it is, you can add some items that you can sell on top of services that you can provide, babysitting services, ironing services, laundry services, etc. Next is going to be amenity fees. Now, in amenity fees, I've seen people go overboard, and actually in the past, not so much today, but in the past, providing Wi-Fi used to be an additional fee for guests. Today, I don't recommend that because Wi-Fi is a must, and everyone's giving that away. But you can add additional amenities, like I'm going to give you an example that we do is, for example, our pools. If you want the pool to be heated, that's going to be additional cost. So those are some of the amenities that you can add. Again, you only limited to your imagination. Next is a late checkout, early check-in fee that you can add. You can add an additional marketing fee. Now, for us, the marketing is part of our management fee, and I firmly believe that where you as a management company, where you really add value is your marketing, right? Those companies that charge a marketing fee, which there are some, but I can tell you they're in the long run they're going to lose out, because if you're providing a service to a customer and like managing short-term rentals, one of the expectations is that you help the owner produce money or generate income from that property, and hopefully it's profitable, right? If that property is not profitable, that owner is going to do one of two things. Either they're going to fire you and look for a company that's going to help them become profitable, or they're just going to leave the game altogether. Either way, you're out of business. Next is going to be furnishing fee. Now, this is one that we use, and that is when a customer gets a new property and they want us to help them furnish that property or stage that property. We charge a fee for that. There's depending on what type of property you have, you can also charge what's called a key exchange fee. Not a fan of this because I don't believe you should be using keys, especially with today's technology. Everything should be using codes for your locks. But if you do have keys, you can charge a key service fee for the owner of the property in terms of getting keys duplicated, putting them in lock boxes, etc. Next will be a travel insurance fee. This is a big one. We use this as well. All OTAs are currently using this as well. But if they book directly with you, charging them a fee, an insurance fee, to protect the property or to protect them from their trip in case they have to cancel. Next is a commission from partners. Now, this is a big source of revenue for us, one that I highly recommend you do, and that is teaming up with outside partners like car rentals, boat rentals, bike rentals, restaurants, grocery stores, food delivery services, and then get a commission from the business you sent their way, right? That's a big one. Property setup fee, and then a consulting fee. Those right there, I gave you 15, and if you add the auxiliary stuff, more than enough fees that you can generate outside of your management fee. And I'm going to give you an example of what, if you follow the weekend reviews, you know that I always talk about what the rental management fee is and then what additional fees are and the amount are, and it is substantial, and I'm going to go into that right now. So let's get into our numbers. This past week, we made a little under $50,000. We had 250 bookings. Our occupancy rate is at 72.1%. The average daily rate is at $200, and then RevPAR is at $144. In terms of the sources of our revenue, we came in at number one at a little over $24,000. Airbnb came in at number two at $13,000. Booking is at $5,500. Verbal is at $3,000, and all other OTAs are at $4,000. In terms of RevPAR per area, Miami's at $309. Then we have Oakland Park at $291. Fort Lauderdale is at $268, and all other areas are at $130. So now let me give you the numbers for our additional fees. For this past week, we made $8,500 in additional fees. Again, it's a substantial number. So if you're not being creative, if you're not using or charging and try to create additional revenue, you're missing out a big chunk of money. So let's continue in terms of staffing. Nothing new to report in staffing. No issues this past week. Project progress, nothing to report in project progress. We really have had a slowdown in terms of new projects, but we had an increase in short-term rental optimization. That has become a booming business, and that's, some people call it consulting business, which is in those revenues that I added. But it is clear that a lot of you guys are struggling to either become profitable, or you're seeing a big dip in revenue. And again, I think the problem there is that most of you got spoiled with 2001, and then part of 2022, when this business was an anomaly, people. We're not going to go back to those numbers. This business really exploded during that time frame, but and we weren't oversaturated. But as a result of that boom, we became oversaturated, which reduced a lot of the revenue coming in. Not for companies like Airbnb. Let me reemphasize that fact, especially if you looked at the last couple of videos. I talked about that. Demand is higher than ever, but the problem is inventory is higher than ever. So you really, to get a piece of that pie, you really have to be creative, you have to stand out, and you really have to work hard. Anyway, hope that information was useful. If it was, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed, follow me on Instagram, buy me a coffee if you want to talk to me about any specific subject, or if you want to gamble, send me a message with a question, and I may pick it and be one of the questions that we answer during these weekend reviews. Love you guys. See you in the next one.